Good morning. Welcome to the Finner Pavilion for today's introductory press conference. Before we get started, I want to go over today's order. We'll have a microphone brought over to you. Please state your affiliation when asking a question. At this time, please welcome Father Peter Donahue to make opening remarks.
Good morning and welcome to the Finneran Pavilion. I am Father Peter Donahue and I have the honor of serving as the president of Villanova University. Today we come together to officially welcome and introduce the William P. Finneran Endowed Men's basketball coach, Kevin. Have Coach Willard's wife, Julie, and their sons, Colin and Chase, with us this morning. Coach Willard is no stranger to Villanova basketball, having competed against us during his playing days at Pitt and during his 12-year coaching tenure at Seton Hall University. I had a front row seat for many of those Villanova-Seton Hall matchups, and they were competitive and hard-fought games on both sides. I look forward to seeing the same passion, grit, and enthusiasm on display at the Finneran Pavilion and at the Wells Fargo Center next season. When I took this job nearly 20 years ago, I had no idea just how central a role that athletics, and basketball in particular, would play in the work that I do as president of Villanova. Men's basketball is a valued and highly visible part of our university community. Its success has helped elevate this institution's national and global profile and brought attention to our Augustinian Catholic mission. Villanova basketball is a source of enormous pride for countless Villanovans. One just needs to look around the room to see the tremendous passion and enthusiasm that surrounds our program. We have very high expectations for men's basketball, and we should. Over the past decade, our program has won 2 national championships, reached the Final Four and Sweet 16, and have won 10 total Big East regular season tournament championships. Under Coach Willard's leadership, I am confident that Villanova's legacy of excellence and success will continue, maintaining our place among the nation's elite. Before I hand this over to Eric Rodell to share a few words, I want to express my gratitude to several people. First, I want to thank Kyle Neptune and his for Villanova University and for our student athletes over the past 3 years. They have been wonderful role models for our young men in our program, and I am very grateful for Kyle taking on the responsibility that he did when he replaced Jay Wright. And I have to thank Jay Wright for his constant energy around this program, continued commitment to this program, and his guidance as not only a mentor to basketball, but also a friend to me. So I'm very grateful for that. Next, I want to express my gratitude to the members of the search committee for their time, expertise, and input. They did a remarkable job identifying the right coach to lead Villanova basketball. Finally, I am grateful to Eric Rodell for his leadership since returning to campus as Vice President and Director of Athletics a few months ago. Eric has hit the ground running and has been a great partner to me and a leader to the Villanova Athletics. We are delighted to have him back at his home, his alma mater. And to Coach Willard, on behalf of the entire Villanova community, we are thrilled to welcome you to our family. And no pressure, but we expect great things in the season to come. And now I would like to turn this over to the Vice President and Director of Athletics, Eric Rodell.
Well, thank you all for being here today. There's certainly a lot more of you here than there were for my introduction, and that's how it should be. But thanks again, everybody. What an exciting day for our university, for our community, and for our men's basketball program. We are thrilled to welcome Coach Willard, his wife, Julie, and their boys, Colin and Chase, to Villanova. Before I turn to Coach Willard, I want to take a moment to thank our former players, some of whom are here with us today. The foundation and culture you have built here is extraordinary and has positioned Villanova basketball among the nation's elite. I also want to thank Coach Kyle Neptune for all that he put into the Villanova basketball program over the last 3 seasons as our head coach, and the many more seasons before that as a part of Coach Wright's. Coach Neptune has been and always will be a great Villanovan. We are also appreciative of the outstanding leadership Coach Mike Nardi provided to our program over the last several weeks as our interim head coach, including a great run with the team at the Crown last week in Las Vegas. And to our current players, we could not have been more proud of how you came together as a team and played for one another this past season and over the past several weeks. I want to thank Father Peter for his continued partnership and friendship since my arrival in January and his tremendous support of Villanova athletics. Father is dear to so many in our community and has earned that admiration and love. I'm grateful to Board Chair Beth Mazzio and the entire board for their support during this process and for their recognition of the value that athletics brings to Villanova University. We're so fortunate to have had a passionate, invested, and talented search committee that put long hours and significant thought into this process. And I want to recognize them, starting with Board Vice Chair Tom Quinlan, Father Rob Hagan, former men's basketball student athlete Randy Foy, and Senior Associate Athletic Director Brian Beecham. We were also incredibly blessed with the guidance and wisdom of Coach Wright throughout this process. There will never be enough thanks to Coach Wright for all he has done and continues to do for Villanova. And Coach, thanks for making the effort to be here today. In our first meeting as a search committee, we identified the key qualities and characteristics that we sought in our next head coach, which included a close alignment and fit with our community and Augustinian values, an experienced head coach who has won at the highest levels of college basketball, an outstanding leader of young men, someone with a commitment to the holistic development of student athletes, including their pursuit of a Villanova degree, a coach with an understanding of the modern landscape of college basketball and of what it takes to be successful in the Big East and nationally, and a coach who would connect and engage with our campus, alumni, and donor communities. We had the opportunity to speak with several outstanding coaches from around the country, yet when we had the opportunity to visit with Coach Willard, it quickly became clear that he was everything we were looking for. With 18 years of head coaching experience, 12 of those in the Big East, and appearances in 7 of the last 9 NCAA tournaments played, including a Sweet 16 appearance this past year, Coach Willard brings a strong track record of sustained success. But even more importantly, Coach Willard demonstrated that he is a leader in close alignment with our Augustinian values, desires to become immersed in our very special community here at Villanova, and has a strong commitment to the development of his student athletes, both on and off the court. Wanted to recognize Coach Denise Dillon for being here, as well as Val Ackerman and some of the staff from the Big East. Very special to have you guys here. And I want to close with, this is a really special and transformational day in the history of our storied men's basketball program. So please join me in welcoming the 10th head coach of Villanova men's basketball, William B. Finneran, endowed head coach, Kevin Willard.
for the photos. There you go.
I had serious remarks prepared, but when I saw Chris Jenkins and Coach Wright over there, the only thing I could think of is travel. For 12 years, I used the word travel more than I used any other word for 12 years. And Chris, it's so good to see you, my man, because you gave me so much heartbreak so many times. I'm going to be brief because I've learned over the last 2 weeks it's probably better to say less than it is more.
Good idea.
I promised my wife I would be on my best behavior. It's great to see everyone from the Big East. Val, it's good to be back. You know how much I love this conference. John, I'm sorry you're retiring, but you know how much I love you. It's great to see everybody. I'm going to use the two words that I try to tell my players in society that we've kind of forgot, and that is thank you. I would like to thank Father Peter, Eric, everyone in the search committee for giving me this unbelievable opportunity. I am humbled. I am privileged. This is an honor that I would never thought would occur. So I want to say thank you to everyone in the Villanova community that has been so welcoming to my family, to myself. The last 8 days have been, I've said it to my two sons, it's like Christmas every day. It's gotten better and better. I have to say thank you to the former players. You guys have been, it's such a brotherhood. It's so strong. It's an unbelievable culture, but you guys reaching out every day has made this transition unbelievable. I have to say thank you to my family. I've put them through quite a bit over the last 18 years. My son just turned 18. He's graduating high school. I think this is going to be his fourth house. My wife, Julie, has been with me. We're celebrating our 25th year anniversary this year. She is my rock. She has been by me side by side. I am blessed to have such an amazing woman in my life. My two kids, Colin and Chase, are my sidekicks. I want to say thank you just for sacrificing and moving and doing all the things that you had. I'd like to say thank you to Jay. I would not have taken this job if I sent him a text because he was on TV. I had met with Father and Eric, and I said, Julie and I had made the decision that this was the place that we wanted to be at. And I texted Jay because I forgot he was on TV. And I said, Jay, I'm not taking it. I said, are you okay with this? I said, because I have so much respect for what you've done here. I know what you've done here. And he sent me one of the greatest texts I've ever got. He goes, I am behind you 100%. You are the right guy at the right time for this. And Jay, I just want to say thank you. You've always been a great friend. You've always been there. It meant the world that you got back to me while you were talking about Sweet 16 games. Getting him away from the camera is tough. I'm not here to change Villanova basketball. Villanova basketball is one of the elite basketball programs in the country. I'm not here to change the culture. I'm not here to change the attitude. I'm not here to change anything besides the way we play. Villanova basketball will always be Jay Wright's program. I am honored to be part of this program. I am honored to be part of this family. We're not changing anything. The only thing I'm here to do is change the way we play and change the dynamic of what has become college basketball. College basketball has changed dramatically in the last 3 years. My job is help us adapt. My staff's job is help us adapt and navigate the new world while embracing this unbelievable university, this unbelievable family, and a culture that I have seen up front for 12 great years. I am honored to be here. We will work every day to make sure that we uphold these values of this great university, of what was built here, of these championships from the former players that I respect unbelievably, because we battled against each other, we cried with each other, we hugged each other after Big East championships. This is an honor, and I'm privileged to be here, and I just want to say thank you for everyone's support, and go Cats. Think about that one,
Now we'll open up to questions from the media. Any questions? Put your hand up in the air, and we'll have someone bring a microphone to you. And again, please state your name and affiliation before asking the question.
Hey, Kev, Dick Weiss.
Turn it around.
Backwards. Kev, Dick Weiss, how are you? Welcome home. Can you talk a little bit about how important North Jersey has been to the Big East and Villanova over the years, and how your relationships up there will pay dividends?
I mean, I spent 12 years at Seton Hall, which is an unbelievable program in university. The relationships I built in that area, I still talk to. Shaheen was my assistant for 10 years, is still one of my dearest friends. I think what makes this conference so special is the fact that we are miles apart. You're not taking planes, it's bus rides, it's car rides. We recruit against the same people. We battle against the same people. It's what's made this conference so special for years and decades. So those relationships will always be with me, and I'm just glad to be back in this area.
Mike Sealski, pardon me, from the Philadelphia Inquirer for Kevin. You mentioned how much college sports and college basketball has changed over the last 3 years. What kind of sense do you have? You know, there are certain things that are in motion that will kind of clarify what's ahead, but in the broad sense, what kind of sense do you have about how things are going to settle out moving forward, I guess?
I think everyone in this room, from Val, Eric, Father, we all hope that it settles out and we get some guide rails and some get our hands on this, because it's out of control right now. The average person just doesn't understand what's going on with transfer portal, NIL, how much money is being spent, how much money is going on. My goal is, I think, if we work together, and this is the greatest sport, in my opinion. We are in the Northeast. It's the best area to play college basketball. I think we all hope that there's some guide rails that get put in place to not only help the schools, because I think the schools are going to be challenged dramatically in the next 3 to 4 years, but I think to also help the players and give them some guidelines and give them some rules that will help them stay at schools longer, be part of a family that's like this, a culture like this. I think there's things that we can do that need to be done, but that it's not right now.
Katie.
Eric Watkins, VU Sports. Hey, Coach, right here in the end. You've talked about culture a bit and want to maintain the culture. Given NIL and the no sit-out transfer portal, what aspects of the Villanova culture are fundamental and sustainable given NIL and the portal, and which might need to morph a bit?
You know, it's attitude, work ethic, toughness, all those things still are achievable in today's NIL world. It's the one thing that I always respected so much about playing against Villanova, is that I knew you were going to have to not only play your best, but you're going to have to play your toughest. You're going to have your best attitude. Not only because Jay was going to bring it out of you, but every player on that court was you were going to have a better attitude. You're going to have to be more tough. And I think those parts of your culture are still built in. That's not going to change. My teams over the last 3 years have been just like that. And we'll continue to embrace what this culture is all about. We'll embrace what this university is all about. But you have to be flexible. And really where the flexibility comes in is your playing style. You're not going to always have to be able to play fast or play big or play small. Your roster changes so much. But your culture doesn't have to change. We have values that we are going to live by every day. That's not going to change as a coaching staff. That's not going to change for me. It doesn't change as a father. And we will continue to pass that down. And it definitely doesn't change as a family. So our culture will stay strong. Our roster might change a bit more. Things like that might change, but our culture will be as strong as ever.
Katie?
Hi, Coach. I'm Katie Lewis from the Villanovan. On the topic of the transfer portal, what do you think is going to make Villanova an attractive destination for players?
I don't think I have enough time for that, Katie, because I think there's so many things that make this place special. History, location, being part of the Philadelphia sports scene, the university itself, getting a great education, the alumni base. I think we were up in New York last night. We had over 400 people at a I got to meet just about everyone. I think there's so many special parts of this job, of this university. And I will say the strongest part is the fact that the former players have as strong of a brotherhood as I've ever seen anywhere I've ever gone. And to be perfectly honest with you, that's the biggest sell, is those guys and the brotherhood that they've created. I think that will last a lifetime.
This is for Kevin. Jeff Nyberg from the Philadelphia Inquirer. You talked a bit about the portal. There's some news that broke before you sat down that a former player from this past year's roster is entering the portal. You've obviously got a lot of work to do. How confident are you that, with the infrastructure here, that you can build a roster that gets back to the tournament next year? Yeah,
I mean, we've been working. I think we've done 120 Zooms in 7 days. So I mean, it's kind of tough. They open the portal up, and then you go into a 11-day dead period. And so the mayhem is kind of, you're trying to do a lot of recruiting. I'm extremely confident in my staff and I about what we're gonna build and how we're gonna build it. We're making sure we're doing it the right way with the kids that we want. We're gonna lose some kids to the portal. That's understanding. I think the kids this year did a phenomenal job. We played against them. I think Kyle and his staff did a tremendous job this year, navigating a new world, which is extremely tough. But I'm extremely confident about the team we'll put on the floor next year.
David?
Hi, Kevin. David Shapansky from Villanova Student Radio. Thanks for being here today. I know you talked about it a couple days ago, but being in the Philadelphia area, and you talked about it just a few seconds ago as well, what does it mean for you to be in a sports market, coaching in a sports market like Philadelphia, and having more time to, over the past couple days, to spend in the area, spend in the region? What has it been like for you, just kind of soaking it all in?
Well, it's actually only my second day on campus. So it's been fun. I've been blessed. I'm from New York, coaching at Seton Hall and being in the New York area, and then being at the University of Maryland, being in D.C. and Baltimore, being in that sports market. So I've been blessed to be in big markets. I think what's really great about it, there is a distraction for some parts of the year, which is nice. You get to go to Phillies games, you get to go to Eagles games. Obviously, the 76ers is tough because we play when they're playing. But for the most part, it gives your kids a chance to be part of something bigger than just one spot. And I've always been jealous of Philadelphia fans because how passionate they are. In New York, we were kind of split between, if you were from Long Island, you're a Jets fan, Giants fan, you're over here. It seems in Philadelphia, you're centralized around your teams, and I love that.
David?
Dave Mellinger, Sports Talk Philadelphia. Coach, how does it feel to be part now of the Philadelphia Big Five? And also, what is your message to the Villanova fan base?
Yeah, I think the Big Five is really cool, to be honest with you. I don't think there's anything like it in college sports. I know they've changed the format over the last couple of years. I don't know what the format is, but I know it's really cool that we're part of it, and I know we play. I think it's home and away, and then Wells Fargo, something like that. I don't have the schedule down. My message is to Nova fans is let's have some fun. Let's bring some energy back into this building, into Wells Fargo. We're going to play a fun style. We're going to recruit kids that represent the culture of this program, the culture of this university, the work ethic of this program. I think the excitement already that I've met everyone on campus last night in New York has been great. So it's just, I want everyone to have the same energy I have positive, fun energy, go out there. Let's do the same thing that Jay and these great players have done before. And they did that by having a great attitude, a great work ethic, and that's the same thing we're going to do.
Hi, Coach. Nathan Mather, Villanova Television Sports. Your teams have varied drastically in tempo when you were at Maryland, from being very half-court to up-tempo, but you found ways to make the tournament with both styles. Is there a preference for the pace of play you want to run at Nova?
So are you getting your tempo from KenPom? You guys love that, man. So tempo is, I look at tempo of a defensive tempo. So one of the reasons why we've been slower on the offensive side is because we've been, over the last 5 years, a top 5 team in making teams work for a field goal. So the harder you make your opponent work for a field goal, automatically your tempo on the other side of the offense slows down. So we took a shot every 17 seconds in the half court. I think it was like 27th in the country. The 280th team took a shot every 18.2 seconds. So tempo is really kind of different. We play a fast tempo at times, but the difference between first and last is only about 2.2 seconds in the half court. So when you really start thinking about tempo, the way I look at it is on the defensive end. How hard are we making teams score? How long are we taking them? Are we forcing turnovers? So KenPom's great, and I love it. But when you really dissect what the numbers are, each year you're going to be different depending on your defense, and that's the way I look at it. Last year we were big. We were 6'11", 6'11", 6'5". So we played a little bit slower because we threw the ball inside a little bit, but it was 1 second slower than I've ever been on average. So the tempo numbers sometimes I think sound sexy. I just want to play winning basketball, and that's all I'm really focused on. It's a great way to end it. Father's got to get up to Boston.
Hey, Coach. Ryan Scanlon, Villanova Student Radio. Welcome to Nova. My question is, what have you learned from Seton Hall, Big East pit stops in Seton Hall, Maryland, that you can bring to Villanova and our community?
I strive every year. We go as a staff, and every year I go back and I say, okay, what weren't we good at? What were we good at? What did I fail on? What can I get better? The one thing I could say right now, I feel like I'm in the prime of my coaching career. I just turned 50. I'm blessed to have 2 kids who are going to go off to college soon. Long story. You know, my wife and I, we're going to be empty nesters, so it's like, this is my life. And, you know, we made a family decision. And this was a family decision. This was my wife and I making a decision together that where we wanted to spend, technically, my last job. And so I'm going to take the years of experience of being in the Big East, working for one of the best coaches in Rick Pitino, all those years of experience. The Big Ten made me a much better coach, just because the size, the depth. It's a great league, but I feel like I'm in the prime of my coaching, and that's one of the biggest reasons why my wife and I decided to make this move, was because this is going to be our last move.
Anything else? All right, well, that concludes today's program. I want to thank everyone for attending, and have a great day.
Thank you, everybody.